Good morning again. I'm Matt Schweitzer. I'm the youth pastor here at Wayne Church. As Greg's already mentioned, we're here this Sunday to share about our experience from Appalachian Service Project a couple weeks ago. So we got back. 14 of us went to Cabell County, West Virginia. We got back 2 weeks ago. During our week there, we worked on 2 homes. We served 2 homeowners. You saw the pictures at the beginning of the service. We worked on one home. It was Jed, Eileen, Andrew Ealer, Dustin Schrader, my son Owen, Danny Wempa, and Chris Wempa. They worked on a handicapped ramp, and the woman who lived in that home has terminal lung cancer. So she's in a process of treatment just to keep her comfortable and keep her alive, and she's been dealing with that for several years now, but she's lost quite a bit of mobility. And throughout the week, they fixed some of the previous group's work, and they continued on and finished the bulk of the ramp. They did an amazing job, and that ramp now gives her access to her driveway and exiting her home in a much more easy way than she previously could. I don't want to steal any of their thunder, but one of the things she commented on was that she had not seen her backyard in several years. And because of the ramp now, she could walk out there and she could experience what was a beautiful yard, actually. The second group worked with me and Kate Buckley, and that was Ashley Leonard, Megan Buckley, Kimmy Schrader, Avery Tamar, and Melanie Zeller. And we worked on a home in Huntington, West Virginia. Cabell County is interesting. It's home to one of West Virginia's largest metropolises, 40,000 strong. Huntington, West Virginia, which is also home to Marshall University. So we had an interesting experience this week. We worked in an urban setting and also in a very rural setting, which that combination doesn't happen very often with ASP. But we were working on a home. It was a young woman, and we were putting insulation and siding up on the outside of her home and redoing the soffit and gutters on her home because she had water damage and she also had a tremendous utility bill in the winter and in the summer. And she was overcoming some health problems and was working toward becoming a social worker. And that utility bill had become onerous. It had become a problem for her. And so ASP was stepping in to try to make her home more affordable and livable. And so I wanted to give you the backstory of what we did and where we were working and the homeowners that we got to serve before you hear from a few of the trip's participants. Just as some context, every year when we come back, I ask them if they are willing to share an experience from the trip, so something that was memorable, and then where they saw God at work, and would they go on another mission trip, which hopefully if they're up here sharing is a resounding yes. I would hope it wouldn't be the other way around. But you'll hear from them, and then I'll wrap us up. So I'm turn it over to Megan.
Good morning. My name is Megan Buckley, if you don't know me yet. This year's mission trip was my 4th time attending, and in the previous years I remember always having an extreme amount of fear before going for the first time, but now it's the one thing that I look forward to most all year. And I don't think I can choose a favorite event or moment, but I would say the overall experience and environment is the best part. I couldn't count how many laughs we all share, and I believe I truly am my happiest self each time we go. So I would say instead of having a favorite part, in my eyes, the whole trip is so freeing, and I always have an amazing week. And each year I see God on these mission trips almost everywhere, but this year specifically I felt Him helping me throughout the week. For me, self-image and anxiety is a struggle of mine, but on the mission trip I felt an extreme weight lifted off my chest. I didn't once feel judged or uncomfortable, and I do believe that was because I felt closer to God. I also saw God in our whole group. I felt like we all got along greatly, and God just really helped us all bond and share amazing moments together. Like I said earlier, each year on the mission is the time of the year when I feel the greatest amount of joy. So I will absolutely attend each and every year possible. It is one of the best choices I've ever made, and I'm so glad I get to be a part of it.
Hello, my name is Dustin Schrader. This was my 5th mission trip here at Wayne Church. A couple weeks ago, my experience at Cabell County was certainly unforgettable. We got the privilege of giving back to those most in need in the Appalachian area and help make their days and lives just a little bit easier. During our week of service, I saw God everywhere, whether it was the safety of our work sites, on our journey home in the rainy downpours, our daily reflections amongst ourselves and the other churches, or unusually strong work ethic. I saw God most in my appreciation for the people I've met, the area, and the work that we were doing. Most years I see God in a specific instance or memory or person, where this year God showed me the bigger picture. Throughout our drives back and forth to our work site, I built an appreciation and understanding of the lifestyle that seemed so much different than mine. Many held a great deal of pride with what they had done, both physically and mentally. During our culture night, there was a lesson that taught us what it means to be intelligent and joyful. Most people measure intelligence based on their college degree or paycheck, but in Cabell County, many have such accomplishments, but they also can fix their own cars, manage farms, and build strong relationships with their neighbors and develop friendships with unfamiliar faces. I got to understand that joy doesn't come from having stuff or living in a well-off area. Instead, it comes from the appreciation for all the good in their lives. My homeowner found her joy through our work, her pets, her family, and her independence. God showed me that those who may not be in similar situations financially are not any less intelligent nor less joyful. He showed me how appreciative and grateful many in the area are and how I can reflect those qualities in my life. Now, my personal favorite part of the trip was getting to be around our young and not so young church community. Meeting new faces like Jed and Eileen was certainly a highlight, and I was able to not only get to work with the two of them throughout the week, but also build personal connections with each of them. Additionally, our team on the worksite had a remarkable drive to give our homeowner her independence back. She had lung cancer, preventing her to live and move around as much as she had hoped, and she was in need of a ramp for her wheelchair. At the end of the week, we managed to give her that, and in all 5 mission trips I've been on, this has been the furthest we've progressed and the most rewarding. I got to know several of my team members better, and we all got to watch our project develop towards completion. And I'm glad to be able to share that since our departure, our worksite has been finished and our homeowners' independence and health can be much improved. With all that being said, the mission trip is always something I look forward to every year. I continue to go back for the experiences of helping others and returning home with goals to live better, based on how God calls me to. And as Matt mentioned this verse earlier, Luke chapter 10, verse 27, talks about loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And this week, that was a strong message, as well as the idea that you should always love strong. And that's something I'll carry with me every day. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Jed Riddell, and apparently I'm one of the not-so-young. My boss, Eileen, and I had a great time and the privilege to accompany our youth to the far side of West Virginia. And as we left here, I pretty much feared that I would end up being the pushy old grump at the end of the week trying to get things done. Nothing could have been farther from the truth. By 10 o'clock Monday morning, I started smiling, and I didn't stop the whole week. Our young people are absolutely amazing. They understood why we were there. They showed focus and energy the entire week. They engaged our homeowner, and as I said, smiles just ruled the day. These are young people of whom both their parents and their church can be extremely proud. Occasionally, God puts the right person in the right place, exactly the right time in our lives. And I would like to say that Matt Schweitzer is that person for our youth today. And we made a lot of noise earlier for John, rightfully, and I would ask you to make the same noise for Matt.
Thank you, Jed. Thank you. For me, the place that I saw God during the week was in the interactions between all of us as a group. Paul talks in Ephesians about us being adopted. We're all adopted thanks to Christ's sacrifice. So what that means is that we're family, thanks to the blood of Jesus. And I don't know if you noticed when I was sharing the groups, I was saying them pretty quickly, I apologize, but there were two young women that came on the trip that are friends of Megan's. Melanie came with us last year, but Avery had never been to our church, had never been among our group. And the thing that astounded me this year, and it does every year, honestly, is the way even someone who none of the rest of us know is brought into the group and is loved and is accepted and is made family. And I think that's pretty amazing. And that's not any, I mean, that is a credit to our young people, but it's also a credit to the Holy Spirit and the attitudes that we all walk into these trips with, is that we are there to love, we're there to grow together and to grow closer to God. And so I think that happened this year, and it was awesome to have such a dedicated group. And, Jed gave me some props. Jed and Eileen and Chris and Kate all did a wonderful job as chaperones this year. They were flexible, they were kind, they were patient, they were loving. And I said it to them at the end of the trip, but we can't do these trips without them, and we can't do these trips without you. I thank you for your support of our youth ministry and for your support of our fundraising to make these trips possible. And so thank you to you, our congregation, for making these experiences possible. Would you join me now in prayer?